Perhaps the most polarizing president in modern times delivered perhaps his most controversial news conference yet.
There's blame on both sides, and I have no doubt about it, and you don't have any doubt about it either.
President Donald Trump is blaming both the neo-Nazis and white supremacists in Charlottesville and those who came out to protest them for the violence.
What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt?
Let
me ask you this. What about the fact they came charging with clubs in their hands, swinging clubs? Do they have any problem? I think they do.
He talked about the white supremacist driver who rammed his car into a crowd of counter-protesters, killing Heather Heyer.
The driver of the car is a disgrace to himself, his family, and this country. And that is, you can call it terrorism, you can call it murder, you can call it whatever you want.
He also discussed the initial rally in Charlottesville held by white supremacists who were upset at the possible removal of a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee.
This week it's Robert E. Lee. I noticed that Stonewall Jackson's coming down. I wonder, is it George Washington next week, and is it Thomas Jefferson the week after?
I spoke via Skype with Breitbart senior editor-at-large Joel Pollack.
He showed why his supporters love him. This is what they want him to do. They want him to push back against double standards in the media. And I think importantly, he stood up for the principle of freedom of speech.
Pollack says white supremacists and neo-Nazis are despicable, but they have a right to peacefully share their views.
The fault is also shared in, at least in part, by the left-wing groups that show up to commit violence and shut down the free speech of other Americans.
Congressman Sherman, a Democrat from Sherman Oaks, says the president's words are disturbing.
For him to refer to very fine people as those who would stand shoulder to shoulder with Nazis and Klansmen in defense of a white supremacy agenda is just outrageous. Woman is dead. She's dead because she was murdered by a terrorist. That's what the president needs to address.
And we are getting a lot of reaction tonight. Hopefully we can put some of that up on the screen. This from David Duke, the former Grand Wizard of the KKK. Thank you, President Trump, for your honesty and courage to tell the truth about Charlottesville and condemn the leftist terrorists in Black Lives Matter and anti-fascist. That is a response from him. Strong opposition to that from Marco Rubio and from Ted Lieu. Why does Donald Trump keep acting like he's beholden to David Duke, the KKK, white supremacists and Nazis? And from another Republican, Marco Rubio here, the organizers of events which inspired and led to Charlottesville terrorist attack are 100% to blame for a number of reasons. So the former Republican who ran, or the Republican who ran against President Trump with some of his strongest words yet against President Trump now that he is President Trump. Reporting live, Alex Michelson, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Alex, thank you. And President